Good morning, everybody. 8:20 a.m., May 21st. Welcome to my channel. Now, yesterday we opened and we started to push up a little bit. Then we started to break down. As part of my back testing, it hit my scenarios level where I wanted to be short in the ES. I had about 29 points of excursion on that trade. And then positive news came out about a possible deal being made with Iran. That juiced the markets and ended up stopping me out. Now, I even got a better entry based on levels. And I was like, wow, we went into ultimate balance. And it kind of held the market. And I went short based on my levels, even though I knew positive news came out. It did have a couple of moments where it looked like it was going to break back into range. That made me hold on to it. Eventually got stopped. In retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have put that short on. Um, Then I waited for a pullback to get long with that positive news. Had about 11 or 12 points of excursion on that, and then got hit break even. And the market only, it would have stopped me out, but the market only wound up going like a point past my stop loss, and that, um, and then it just drifted up the rest of the session because the internals were so strong. The market wasn't going to go down. Okay. Now, what I saw this morning. Now we also had NVDA earnings, kind of a nothing burger. Okay, they're currently like flat, so nothing happened from the NVIDIA earnings. Okay, what I did see is Iran saying they do not want to give up uranium, obviously for nuclear weapons. Right, crude is currently up 2.85% this morning. It went all the way down to I think $97 a barrel yesterday. So anytime you see a peace deal is near or whatever, I call BS usually because it juices the markets. The algos like it, and then look, we're really, if you look at the SPY, right? Let's look at the SPY real quick. I'll just go to an hourly chart. We'll see the pre-market levels, right? So this is the hourly chart on SPY. Look at this. I would just call it like a pink line. That's last week's close. You want to talk about a market that's done nothing? That's what we're talking about here. So, and we're at ultimate balance as we speak. We're a little below ultimate balance in the NASDAQ, and we're right in the middle of ultimate balance in the ES, in the SPY. Okay? So this says everything. Right now, we're right below last week's close. The market's done nothing. It's Thursday. All the gyrations mean nothing. Pretty crazy to say that, right? Pretty crazy to say that. All right. Now, we have some data coming at 9:45 today. Um, so we're through major earnings. All right. Walmart is down. They had earnings. That's one of the biggest staple um, market cap holdings in the XLP. Okay. So let's start it. Get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Use market profile, buy profile to find structure in markets, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. That's how I come up with game plans. Now, once that market opens up, I use my market internals, shows me the strength under the hood. All right. Remember, I use scam exposure. So I use gamma flip points, which delineate positive and negative gamma for the weekly and the monthlies. I provide that free on my Discord. Also, my weekly expected move that I run every Monday morning. 70% of the stocks close within that range. Okay. On Friday. That's the expected range. Okay. It's a big time edge. I share that also on my Discord for free for Think or Swim. Okay. Now, throw in a little Anchor VWAPs and ICT Smart Money. It's basically my own proprietary system of how I trade. Okay. Now, if you want to join me, please do so. Subscribe, set that alert. Good morning, Mark. Subscribe, set that alert. Give you the market story, the market news, the economic calendar, technical analysis, and I always give you the long, short trade scenarios in the Nasdaq and ES futures later on in the stream. If you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord, Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay. Let's get right into the futures watch list here. See how crude's back up, right? Over $101 a barrel. Almost up 3%. That's because every time we hear there's a peace deal, they're not playing. All right? Iran's not like just gonna bow down. And that's clear. Every time we hear a deal is near, you hear something that they say that's like, oh, well, that's not good. All right? So I don't believe anything. Okay? Now, VIX is up 1.61. 10-year yield's back up. That's going to weigh on mortgage rates. Okay? That's going to weigh on mortgage rates. And the more yields go up, it's going to weigh on markets. Okay? 30-year, I believe, is still over 5%. So just how that works, right? If you can earn 5% yield on a 30-year bond, right? That means that if you're, let's say, have a good chunk of change or decent amount of change, and you can guarantee yourself a 5% yield return every year for the next 30 years, and let's say it goes higher than that, would you rather put your money there in the stock market? You can get a guaranteed 5% for 30 years every year, or put your money in a risk asset that you're not guaranteed 5%. That's pretty much how that works. Okay. Strong dollar. Now we're not over $100 in dollar yet, but a strong dollar also is not the best. Okay. That makes exports and margins for international stuff not that great. So Dow's down 0.31, ES down 0.36, 30-year bonds being sold, which why yields are back up. Nasdaq down over 0.5%, gold down 0.65, Russell down 0.76. Now remember, the Russell's more rate sensitive because small cap companies, right? They don't have buybacks, they don't have monster earnings and all that stuff, so they're very rate sensitive. Bitcoin down 0.84. Bitcoin just can't get it out of its way. Okay, 80,000 goes a little above it, goes a little below it. Eventually, there will be a big move in Bitcoin. Ethereum down 0.126. Silver is your laggard, down 1.43. Moving on to the Mag 7 Plus here. Your leader this morning is Tesla. Tesla is up 1%, over 1%. Eli Lilly up 0.41, and then a bunch of laggards here. Let's go to the over half percenters and see NVDA is down slightly, right? So Microsoft down 0.51, GE down 0.56. Now GE did hit its expected move to the upside. It hit about over $300 yesterday. That's the expected move to the inside. Remember the weekly expected move I give away for free? So GE probably has limited upside now. Caterpillar down 1%. AMD down 2.14. Actually had a very nice day yesterday. All right, but it's down 2.14% today. Top sector, stocks. Here's your love in the energy space. All right, your Exxon, Oracle's up 0.55, Micron up 0.42, Chevron up 0.38. Now, one percenters here. GE Vernova down 1%. Mining stock, NEM down 1.11. Qualcomm down 1.13. Palantir. So it looks like software is getting hit this morning. Palantir down 1.20. Salesforce software again down 2.30. And Walmart, I just said they reported earnings. I think their guidance wasn't the best. We'll see that in a little bit. Let's go granular here. Alrighty. So that's D-Wave. It's quantum computing is up almost 15%. Okay. Ralph Lauren reported earnings are up 9.34. IBM up 5.84. IonQ quantum computing as well up 5.15. So quantum computing getting love. Okay. CoreWeave up 4.66. And now let's look at the laggards here. Intuit. That's software. I think they reported earnings. I'm pretty sure they did. That is the software. So that might be taking down other software stocks in sympathy. Okay? That could be your little reason why. Rocket Labs down 6.72. Alibaba down 3.77, and Intel down almost 3%. Okay? Now, let's go to sectors. You can see energy is back up 0.5%. Basic materials down 0.3. That's your metals. Financials down 0.39. Technology down 0.5%. Semis down 0.60. And staples is your laggard with Walmart's earnings. Okay. Let's go over the economic calendar. Now, so today, initial jobless claims already came out. That doesn't really move markets at all anymore. So we have a bunch of PMIs coming out at 9:45. So not going to take a trade at 9:45. Okay, I'll wait. I will wait. Okay. That is that. Right now, if we're going to look at Trump's schedule today, let's see. So looks like the president participates in an announcement with the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, I guess the EPA. Then president participates in a lunch with the administrator of the environment. Okay, a lunch. 2 p.m. president participates in an ambassador credentialing ceremony. Okay. This is some of the news I was talking about. So at 6:25 Eastern, Iran's supreme leader has ordered that near weapons grade uranium must stay in Iran. 2 senior Iranian sources. Then at 6:30, Iran supreme leader uranium must stay in Iran. Market's not really going to like that. Okay. So that's the financial juice. Let's look at, maybe there's a stock roundup here. They haven't been doing that as much lately. Let's see here. So it looks like that why D-Wave and are going here, moving up here. Let's see. It says shares of quantum computing firms move higher in pre-market U.S. trading on Thursday after a media report said that Trump administration would award $2 billion in grants to 9 companies in the sector. Look, so it says here total of 375 million has been allocated to global foundries, while D-Wave, Quantum, Rigetti Computing, and Inflection are also anticipated to receive 100 million apiece. Wow. That's why quantum computing is moving up. Okay. Let's go to some news here. NVIDIA. NVIDIA bets on new data center chips for growth as sales outlook tops estimates. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang on Wednesday aimed to ensure investors that the world's most valuable company can keep up its blockbuster growth with the help of a broad base of customers, and that new products will help it beat the $1 trillion in sales it has forecast for flagship AI chips. The SpaceX IPO filing lays bare losses and must control as its stake future in AI. Trump administration seeks to supercharge U.S. AI exports with billions in financing, documents show. Okay. Anthropic nears first quarterly profit, agrees to pay SpaceX 1.25 billion monthly for computing power. Wow. Wow. Just Google, Meta, TikTok, Face, EU consumer complains about handling of financial scams. All right, let's just get a little wrap up here before the bell. U.S. stock index futures were subdued after NVIDIA's results failed to impress, while investors awaited earnings from Walmart and key economic data. Weekly jobless gains and business activity surveys are due later in the day and could offer investors fresh clues on the health of the economy, with a stronger than expected first quarter earnings season in its final stretch. Commentary from the Federal Reserve official Thomas Barkin is also on the radar. Okay, now I want to see why AMD moved yesterday. Let's see. The company said it would invest more than 10 billion in Taiwan's AI sector to deepen strategic partnerships and boost its capacity to build and assemble advanced AI chips. The U.S. chipmaker said it would collaborate with Taiwanese chip packaging and testing provider ASE and its unit SPIL to develop more power-efficient technology for AI systems and processors. Interesting. And there's Intuit. The company lowered its annual revenue forecast for its tax filing software, TurboTax, on Wednesday. Said it would cut 17% of its full-time workforce. Remember, it's down 15%. B with that. Look, Barclays cut target price into it from 443 to 443 from 540. Lowe's, Piper Sandler cuts target price to 276 from 300. NVIDIA, Melius Research raises target price to 400 from 380. Target Piper Sandler raises target price to 127 from 121. That's it there. All right, folks. Why don't we go to our breadth charts? So, 20-day moving average, percentage of stocks. Yesterday, it improved. 46%. Still middling, right? Still middling. Slower moving average, 50. Moved up 53% over their 50-day moving average. Still middling. Still middling, right? Bullish percent index of the S&P 500. 46% weakened. 46% on buy signals. Starting to get a little oversold, okay? NDX. That's your NASDAQ 100. That weakened as well yesterday. Interesting. Not oversold yet. Okay. Let's go by our sectors. Technology weakened 50% on buy signals now. Go to our number 2, financials. That weakened a little bit, 60%. Not much of a move there. Communications. That is middling. Right in the middle. Discretionary. Remember, that's been falling. Actually, got a little bump yesterday. Been oversold. Okay. It's been oversold. That probably Home Depot got a little bought yesterday, because remember, their earnings were okay. They went down below 300, closed about at 310 yesterday. Okay. Now, some notables here. Energy is starting to get overbought. Look at that. 85% of the energy sector is on buy signals. That is frothy. Look, getting overbought. Okay? So I'm just saying. Now, again, we have the Middle East going on, right? Even with that news yesterday of a peace deal, 85% of those stocks are on buy signals. Okay? Notables here. Let's see real estate. Just want to curious. Look at that. Got getting a little hot in the kitchen there. A little overbought. Now we'll finish up with healthcare. Healthcare was in the dumps here. Now it's middling. I think I was talking about that, going, ooh, healthcare is pretty oversold here. Got some love, a little bit. All right. Let's just look at some other staples. Middling. Let's just look at industrials. Industrials taking a hit. That's your Caterpillar, your Boeing, your GE. Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. I think it's ready for the blah, blah, blah. I think we're ready for our market internals recap here. Remember, this is off the open. This is my bread and butter. And yesterday, once we did that, this market was set to sell off. Okay. Remember, I was talking about that's the short, man. And it started to work until, oh, we might have a peace deal. And then we kind of like ranged here, right? Exploded on farther news, ranged, and then just melted up. Look at all the sectors. Top 4 sectors, top 5 sectors were green. You are not going to go down. I was long on this pullback. I had all of that excursion. Then I got stopped. Now, I got stopped break even. So, and then, yeah, I would have had to sit in all of that. Okay. So, right trade, right? So I was in a short here, got all that excursion. News came out, got stopped. I was in a short again based on this. Noticed that the market was just playing around, and I was like, this could really, because it kept trying to look like it was going to go lower. Got stopped here. Then that long got stopped break even. So yesterday was a -1R. Probably should have been. I could have made that a flat day if I took the trade off, because I wasn't super confident. Once we got up here and failed, I was like, this is probably going to roll back. So I saved myself from getting stopped here. Okay, but just very bullish. Look at these internals, 2.6, 2-to-1 buying, going into volume going into up stocks versus down stocks, 3.5 to 1. You are just not going to go down. Nasdaq's 2200. You're just not going down. That's just how it works. I don't know why there's some loud orders getting hit. All right, moving on to daily charts. Look at this. Like I showed you before, this is last week's close. Last week's close is right here. We closed above that yesterday. Okay. So right now we're at like 739s. Like I said, we're right at last week's close, so nothing has happened this week. And look at this crowded area. Okay. Okay, very crowded. Okay, so let's look at futures. Now, we almost tapped into that daily supply zone here. Okay, almost. Remember, that's a very powerful level. And you can see now we're forming a balanced area right here. And look at this. These levels keeps hitting last week's lows, last week's lows, last week's lows, right? I'm probably still leaning on a short today. We swept yesterday's session here. Now we're kind of pushing back, getting support from the 9 EMA daily. Very crowded, but I would think we move lower today unless there's some more positive catalyst. Okay? We have to see though. Qs. Okay. Remember, daily demand. Support once, support twice, support 3 times. There's last week's close. We finished above it. We are currently at 709.40s right here. We're in the middle of yesterday's session. Okay? Actually, in the middle of last week, right? So, looking at futures, you have a daily supply you hit. Put the levels on your chart. Okay? So, this daily supply zone starts at 29436. So, we tipped our toe in it, and guess what? Selling. Now you're here, you got a little doji. I would think we move lower today. And I don't think that move is going to be easy. That would be my expected outcome. Would we just move lower? Do we break all these levels? I don't know. There's daily demand there that's gotten support 3 times. Now you finally hit this supply for the first time. And look at that. Okay. All right. Moving on. Hourlies now. Very crowded here. You'll see in the hourly chart. Here's your hourly charts. Where the heck is this thing? Didn't start. All right, let's get into this now. So again, this price structure is not the best. Okay? Now, remember I talked about ultimate balance. We're in the middle of it. Remember, the 74.20s to 74.30s is ultimate balance. Price is in the middle. Okay? That's the fairest price to do business over the last month and week. Not the best area to be. Shows indecisiveness. Remember I said we are right by last week's close. Means we've done nothing. Okay. Now we had a peace deal, possibly. Iran saying, nope, we want uranium to stay here, and you have NVDA earnings that are now behind us and that didn't do anything to the markets. So maybe the market can act normally a little bit more. Obviously, still have Middle East news. Okay? So, notable. You came up here. Many stacked supply zones above here. Many. Okay? We're at ultimate balance. So remember, price acceptance above ultimate balance is bullish. Acceptance below it is bearish. The only thing is you have some crowded trade here, right? And we took care of this little structure yesterday. So what I'm going to look for is any kind of break and acceptance underneath ultimate balance, retest it. Probably a short, I'm going to target those equal lows that I still think are going to get hit. That is just a level that's going to get hit. Don't know when. Okay. It's going to be very hard for me to want a long in here. Now, don't get me wrong. Can there be a possibility for a short little scalp inside here somewhere? Possibly. Possibly. I just don't like it. Okay. A lot of overhead supply. Remember, we just hit daily demand, daily supply. So, I'm not a fan. Okay. Let's look at volume profile. Right. Let's start here. Let's look how that looks. Look at the bulk of this trading. That's what I'm saying. It's very crowded. Value area, right? And if we step it back, it's going to show us, right? Look at that most traded price of the month, 74.20. That's your high volume node. Look at all of the volume, the value area, the highlighted area. You're right there, folks. We're right in the middle of value. Okay? That's what I'm saying. It's the fairest price to do business. Very crowded. Okay? That visual tells you everything. NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ has many demand zones below here. Watch why I'm thinking a short is possible. You did go into daily supply. Okay. However, actually, the structure's better because it's actually below the 293s, which the 293s is actually ultimate balance now. Okay. Below 293 is bearish. Above it is bullish. I'm going to lean more towards the short side here. Look at this here. Now you have kind of an equal high here. Okay. Okay, so this is pretty crowded. I don't think this is going to be smooth unless there's some news catalyst. Okay, there's a lot of trading here. So, like I said, under 293s, the ultimate balance, you got to be bearish. Above it, bullish. I still just don't like longs. I just don't like it. Okay. I'm just talking about structure. I'm not talking about what news can come out. I'm just talking about the structure. I'd rather be short. Okay. And this is not a great, I mean, you have a lot of demand down here. Poor structure has been all cleaned each time. Okay, so this is where you're going to have to, the market's probably going to like work it off, pull back. Then it can move, work it off, pull back. That's probably how it's going to happen. I still like the short and the ES probably better. But right now you're accepting price below 293, so that's bearish structure. All right, we're going to look at the volume. Let's do it from here. Should see those levels pop out here. Yep. Look at that volume. Oof, 293s. Look at the value area. We're in the middle of value. Okay, you can see there's a low volume node here at the 288s. That just shows a pivot level, right? Look at that right here. You can see candles. It's a pivot level. Low volume nodes either get blown through or act as support and resistance. Okay. Another low volume node here. You can see the pivot, right? Resistance, support, resistance. Shows a pivot level. And those low volume nodes mean not as much time is spent there, right? Not as much volume. so they can get ripped through. That's why I'm saying if you look at the volume here, you don't really have, it's just mad volume, right? You don't have like pockets of like no volume here. That's why I'm saying it's going to be very labored. The move will be very labored if there's not some type of catalyst. Okay. All right, folks. There was a chart I was going to possibly show you guys today. I might save that for a different day. We're just going to go to the volume profile, market profile now. Okay. I love looking at these charts on the market profile, volume profile, because it gives me a different perspective. And it's just easy, really easy on my eyes. I know not on some people else's eyes. Used to looking at candlesticks. Okay. So let's look at this together. You still have these 73.56s, the equal lows that I believe will get hit. Okay. You were gapping up at one point, and we're just not at the great area. Okay. Let's get right into it. Let's do the ES long and short trade scenarios here. Okay. So let's mark off some levels here. So right off the bat, we got to mark off ultimate balance. That's your 74.20s, the 30s, right there. Okay. Now, what else do we have here? Price is here. You're at the midpoint of yesterday. Not a great area to be. Midpoint of yesterday is not a great area to be, which lines up with ultimate balance, right? We have a very balanced profile. That even makes it, again, not much of an edge. Okay? Not much of an edge. And you could just see it here, my weekly composite volume profile here. Look at all of the trading. Notice, okay, there isn't like doesn't look like this, right? Or like if I was going to do more balance like that, it's just heavy volume all the way through. That's what I'm saying. There's not smooth moves going to happen, most likely, without news catalyst. Okay, so let's break out the session. Very crowded here. Very crowded. Okay. Now, let's get into scenarios. I'm going to start with short. I favor a short more. Okay. So, what can happen here? Okay. What I prefer to happen would be push lower, sweep the overnight lows, the 74.07s, right? Come right back. You take out that demand zone. Okay. That demand zone's from like 74.23, 74.15. All right. Sweep the overnight lows. Now you come back into ultimate balance around the 74.20s. Let's say you get rejected. Retest the 74.20s. That's your short. Okay. You can initially target yesterday's lows, 73.76, and then you're going to target those equal lows that I can't wait to target that. The 73.56s, the 73.54s, as the equal lows. Do they hold? I don't know. Okay. If this market is weak, they will not hold. And maybe we go down to fill that gap at 7,300. Okay. Now, the much tougher trade, because ultimate balance is here, right? Market loves to hang out here, is if we did push up into this supply. This is a bearish value gap here. Into this bearish value gap or the supply. Okay, now that supply is from 74.49 to 74.63. Okay. You could hit yesterday's most traded price, which is around 74.50s. Okay. I'm hesitant on this because I don't really like where it is. But if you get rejected here, you could try a short there. Okay. I would target the overnight lows, 74.07s, then go to 73.76s, then 73.56 to 54s. Well, the reason I'm not ecstatic about it because it could still work, right? You're going to come near the overnight highs and fail. Okay. It's just that you have to deal with ultimate balance here. All right. Sometimes it's not the most smooth move there. Okay. That's really all I'm interested in for shorts. As far as a long, I do not like longs. Not in this structure. It's tough. It's really tough to really think about a long here. Okay, but what could be a long? Okay. Now, I'd probably prefer a long off closer to the open. So, what could possibly happen here? What I could see is right now we're in demand. We're at the most traded price of the month, 74.20s. If you get a quick move, sweep the overnight lows. Now, you also have week to day anchor VWAP at 74.07s. Okay. If you close back inside the range of the overnights and put in a higher low, I could definitely see, okay, a move at least to 74. Let's see here, maybe 74.50s. Then you're gonna have some tough sledding. Maybe you do get to the overnight highs at 74.69s or yesterday's highs 74.58s. That's a sneaky little long, but what I want is a quick move, and I want tech to be getting money inflows. And this could be a nice little scalp, and it could be powerful with early volume. Okay, it has to be early, in my opinion. Okay, I'm not interested in any longs up here to enter. It's just you're gonna get chopped up. Now, another viable one. I need to see this taken out or a big move down. Break yesterday's lows, and then you test those 75.56 to 73, 73.56 to 73.54s. Right? There's demand there. If you were to break that, dip into this next demand zone, just dip your toe into 73.47s, and you get some buying coming in. You accept price, close price back inside this range, higher low. Then I would target the 74.20s if you get some rally. Now, I'm not a fan unless this happens quickly. Okay? Remember, you also have last week's lows at 73.63s. Okay? So I'd be very curious to see, what happens here. That's your ES. NASDAQ. Let's do it. Such a crowded trade here. Like I said, the level we talk about in the NASDAQ is those 293s. That's ultimate balance. Okay. Very balanced profile over the overnight. A lot of stack demand below. Like I said, it's going to be tough sledding for the short in the Nasdaq, but you're showing me bearish structure right now. Okay. So let's get into scenarios for the Nasdaq long and short trade scenarios here. Okay. Let's break out the session. So the levels we talked about. Ultimate balance is 293. It's your most traded price of the month and the week yesterday. Price is below that right now. Remember, bearish below it. You do have tons of demand down here. They're just stacked on top of each other with a lot of volume. Okay. Like I said, right now this chart looks like Nasdaq's going to give you a problem going lower. ES probably has a little better chance to go lower. Obviously, they usually move in unison. I just think it's going to be tough sledding. You're not going to have a free ride to just crash, okay? Now, let's get into it. Starting off with shorts. Okay, we're in demand now. Okay, we're at the 50% retracement of yesterday's range. So, what would I expect to happen if I'm going to go short? Well, even if we take out that demand zone, which, let me just be clarify here. This demand zone spans from 29233s down to 2170s, right? I'd like to take that out. Okay, I'd like to clear that out. So let's say right now price clears that demand, gets bought, right? Goes up to the 293s. Now there's a bearish for value gap there. Okay, then there's demand. Now the demand zone starts at 29350s, goes to 29429s. Okay, I want to see a rejection in this supply. Okay, then I want to see it go through 293s, retest 293s. Okay, you will target the overnight lows 2113, 29113. Okay, then you're going to attack yesterday's lows. Just call them 290s. There's a little bullish for value gap there. Then you have a really thick demand zone here. This is really is going to tell you if we start to smoke this demand zone, that is market generated information. If you know it shouldn't in a normal. If there's not strong selling, you're not really going to smoke through this. If you do, I would look to target the 288s, then the 28741s, last week's lows. Okay, we might bounce from there. Okay. Now, I'm not wouldn't be in love with this as much, but if we did push up all the way to the overnight highs, 29463s, and really violently swept it, close back inside the overnight range with a lower high, you could short that and look for the same targets. It's just that if there's price acceptance over 293, I'm a little less to want to short. Okay, longs. I'm not a fan of longs. If I am a long, I probably want a long Nasdaq more than the ES. Okay, so we're in demand now, and I just gave you pretty much the long scenario here. So what would I want here? There is also another demand here in Nasdaq. It spans from 29170 to 29008. Okay, so what could I think could happen if we sweep the overnight lows at 29113s? Okay, hit the weekly anchor rate VWAP at 29071s. Boom, you get some love. You put in a higher low. You can target 293s. Maybe you hold to target the overnight highs 29463. Okay. That's a decent long. Okay, preferably tech getting inflows, right? So you also see here, this is kind of like a little breakout point around the 29170 to 29126s. There's two sessions here that you broke out of yesterday. That's kind of like roughly, Resistance goes into support here, why that trade could work. Okay. Now, there's not much I'm in love with here. Okay. The only other thing I would like to see is if you did really push lower, break the 28810s. That's a major demand zone. Maybe tap 28741s. Then get a higher low. A higher low, yep. Retest 288s and then go long. Okay. Target maybe the 291s. This has to happen quick. I can't see tech be that weak. Okay. That's it, folks. That is all she wrote for me today. Now I'm going to give you my macro outlook. So, again, ES, we're at an ultimate balance right now. Most traded price of the month, 74.20. We are at the midpoint of yesterday. Horrible trade location. Not a great area. Okay? Not a great area. However, the structure for a short in the ES right here looks pretty decent. Longs are going to have a hard time. Okay? As long as we accept below ultimate balance from 74.20 to 74.30s, I'm going to look short. Okay? Even if we accept above it, I don't know how excited I am for a long, really. And it all depends, too, what's driving markets. And you never know what news is going to come out, right? And remember, this is a very crowded area. I don't expect very swift moves. Remember I said that. I don't expect very swift slicing through hot knife through butter moves. I expect laborious moves. Okay? You might have to wait for demands to be taken out to get pullbacks to then short. That's the kind of market I'm seeing right now. Okay? NASDAQ. The level I'm talking about is ultimate balance is 293. Most traded price of the month, most traded price of the week, most traded price of yesterday. Currently accepting price below it. That's bearish structure. However, there's tons of stacked demand below here. Like I said, very crowded. Might have to let some of those demands get taken out before you get a pullback to short. Okay? Remember, we have data coming out at 9:45. All earnings are in our rear view mirror. I'm still liking shorts more. There could be reflexive longs, but my main thesis is the short. And we have those, back to the ES real quick, those equal lows that will definitely be a draw on liquidity at some point, the 73.56 to 73.54s. I have my eye on those. Okay? Maybe I have to play a put or something. I believe, though, it definitely will be tagged. You just never know the timing. All right? Everybody, that's it for me today. Hopefully you smash that like button if you enjoyed that analysis. Please smash the like button. Now, hopefully you join me every morning. Subscribe, set that alert. Give you the market story, the market news, economic calendar, technical analysis, and I always give you the long and short trade scenarios in the ES and the NASDAQ futures, like I just did. If you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Now, everybody, I just gave you my plans and what I'm expecting. Poor trade location right now. 50% retracement of the ES and the NASDAQ. That's where we're at. Roughly at ultimate balance in both. Expect the grind lower or a grind higher. Okay, I'm leaning more to the downside. I'm open to anything. Okay, now hope everybody follows their own process, their own plan. Remember, no trade is a trade. Okay, hope everybody has a great day. And if I don't see you in my Discord, I should be going live around 9:45 a.m. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Take it easy.